Yeah, it's your boy Chefbaker. Welcome back to the channel. Today we got another reaction video. Today we're gonna be reacting to Jimmy Hyro's video, how the NBA is getting broken again. I guess because he's talking about all these threes. I think Joe Mazzulla said for the Celtics, they want to shoot like 53s. That's crazy in this modern NBA. But anyway, we're gonna take a look at Jimmy Hyro's video. If you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Drop a like on the video, comment. I don't know, comment 3-pointer. Yes, comment that. But anyway, let's get to the reaction. Let go.
2016, the Golden State Warriors completely redefined how basketball is played. For the first
And
time,
the
team that centered their offense around the three ball proved that it can be a championship-winning strategy. And they weren't just a three-point oriented team, they were the three-point team. They bucked age-old notions of what great basketball could look like, their star duo named after their shooting abilities, the most influential team of our generation. That season, the Warriors shot 31.6 three-pointers per game.
Real quick, let's just give a little credit to the Miami Heat in the sense that they moved Chris Bosh from the 4 to the 5. It was one of the people to start that small ball lineup, putting Chris Bosh at the 5. And because of that, he had to learn how to shoot threes to make the spacing work for that Miami Heat team. So just give them a little credit. Just let you know. But anyway, let's keep going.
Second most of any team in league history, and by far the most of any true championship caliber team.
The Houston Rockets was going crazy.
Single team
James
in
Harden
the NBA attempts more threes a game than the 2016 Warriors did. Their influence.
That's a crazy stat. Back then, the Golden State Warriors jacking up all them threes in 2016. With Steph Curry having his crazy MVP season. Now you're looking at everybody and mama jacking up more threes than that Golden State Warriors team. And they got two of the best shooters in NBA history. And everybody want to jack up threes. That's one of the reasons why the damn TV views are down, because everybody look the same. Everybody want to jack up threes. Everybody ain't got their own offense.
Reshaping the league far more than anyone could have anticipated. But teams aren't just shooting more threes than ever before. They are approaching the point where the majority of all shots taken in a game are three-pointers. Here's a game between the Hornets and the Celtics. And with 10:36 left in the third quarter, Jason Tatum attempts a three. The Hornets come back and attempt a three as well. Celtics turn over,
seen this game.
Hornets attempt a three. Celtics come down and attempt another three. Hornets come down and attempt a three, followed by a Celtics three, followed by
Wishing Williams a speedy recovery, I think, towards ACL.
Celtics switch it up for a moment with a layup, and then right back to a Hornets three. Turnover, Hornets three, Celtics three, Hornets three, Celtics three.
Crazy.
This was a real sequence in an NBA game. This actually happened. A 4-minute stretch where both teams combined for nearly 14 consecutive three-point attempts if it wasn't for an easy layup at the rim. This is insane, and it's not even out of the ordinary this season. Here's another sequence between the Celtics and
the Knicks. That's why viewership is down, bro. I don't want to watch that.
So you never know what you're going to get in these situations. But how about a three ball followed up with a turnover, another three ball, and another three ball, and another three ball, another turnover, three ball, turnover, three ball. Oh, look, there's a layup. And then back to another three ball.
There's a layup.
And a three ball. And take a wild guess.
A three ball.
3 straight minutes of three-pointers.
And nobody want to watch that shit, bro.
Alone, and they missed all 8. But even this was nothing compared to what happened in a game between the Hornets and the Hawks. With a minute and 45.
Boy, LaMelo? That boy LaMelo? Boy, he been on some Tyrese Halliburton. We trying to figure out if you was the truth. Did you fool us? Because LaMelo, he look like LaMelo's the guy that you supposed to be. Anyway.
5 seconds left in the first quarter. The Hornets made a mid-range jump shot. What's so special about this mid-range bucket? Well, nothing, other than the fact that this would be the last shot they would make outside of layups and three-pointers for the rest of the entire game. For the next 37 minutes of game time, outside of free throws, every single point the Hornets scored until the end of the game was from right here or out here.
That's that Houston Rockets analytics for you. Thank Daryl Morey and Mike D'Antoni and James Harden for that. They were shooting nothing but threes or getting layups and dunks. Hell, when they missed, 27 threes in a row, like, bro, shoot a mid-range. Nope, it was jacking up threes, getting to the paint. Thank Houston for that.
Throughout this entire
analytics
game, the Hornets scored 120 points. Only 4 of them came from a shot that wasn't a three-pointer, a layup, or a free throw. Has the complex, rich, and diverse game that we love truly been reduced to this? It certainly feels that way at times. Through 100 games so far this season, a whopping 42% of all field goal attempts have been from beyond the three-point line. A total
42?
that has nearly doubled
God,
since 2012. Sometimes it feels like we're watching one big three-point contest, because at times, we are. In fact, at the current rate the league is going, which may or may not continue, half of all shots taken in an NBA game will be three-pointers by the 2032 season. But it's not
half
just
the shots,
that teams
50%
are
of
attempting more
the shots
three-pointers.
taken
Teams have
will be
regressed
threes.
to taking only the best, most efficient shots on the court. Three-pointers, layups when they're available, and hardly anything in between. Excluding free throws, 86% of all points scored from NBA teams this season have been from beyond the three-point line or within 6 feet of the basket. 20 years ago, only 65% of all points were scored from these zones. Now, this upward trend of near and far and nothing in between may not continue. Over the past few seasons, there has been some stagnation in three-point attempt rate, so there may be a shift in the other direction in the coming years. But the NBA tends to follow the leader. What are the winning teams doing, and how can we adapt, emulate, and optimize that style of play? And right now, as much as we can't stand it, winning basketball looks a lot like a three-point shootout. Before the beginning of this season, Celtics head coach Joe Mazzulla said the team planned on shooting a lot more threes this year.
More threes.
They did the math, and it checked out. We need more threes. But outside of Harden's Rockets, last year's Celtics attempted more three-pointers than any other team in NBA history. It was a recipe that was so good, it helped them win a championship. How many more threes could they possibly shoot?
They're trying to get up 50.
51. This year's Celtics are shooting 51 three-pointers per game. That is 56% of all of their field goal attempts. Arguably the best team in the league, coming off of a championship, is shooting 6 more three-pointers per game than any other team in league history. But are three-pointers and the sheer volume of them really a recipe for winning basketball? Is this truly the future of the game and what teams will need to do to compete? Well, so far this season, teams that win the three-point battle, when they score more net points from three-pointers than their opponent, have won 72% of the time. And this one metric has been more indicative to winning than just about any other. Last season, there was an 85.6% correlation between three-point percentage and winning percentage, the strongest correlation between the two variables in NBA history. Make more three-pointers, greatly increase your odds of winning the game. But that's pretty obvious. Of course, making more threes will better your odds. We have seen massive underdogs win games by pouring in three-pointers and hitting more than they probably should have. Will teams eventually reach the threshold of three-pointers that are worth taking in a game? Or is the
that's getting on my damn nerves right there. My man's 7'5". Listen, man, your game is your game, right? I'm not saying that the Spurs are doing everything that they can to get him in his right spots. You know, sometimes he's getting pushed off the block. Sometimes him personally can't get himself in his spots. For 7'5" though, and you shooting as many threes he's shooting this season at 7'5", bro, if you don't take your big ass in the paint, bro, take your big ass in the paint. And I'm not trying to downplay and make it sound easy. It's easy. No, it's not easy to get into the paint, especially him being the focal point of the offense. They're gonna try to deny him his spots. And I get that, but bro, he's shooting like 7 threes, 6 threes a game at 7'5". Like when he scored like 50, he shot like 16 something threes or something like that. Like, bro, god damn. Like, kudos, you got 50, but like, get your ass in the paint, get people in foul trouble, create mismatches, create a gravity so people can get open. People on your team get open. Like, Jesus Christ, like shooting that many threes and you that big, right? Like you leaving a lot of points, to me, in my opinion, on the table because you 7'5", you letting the team off the hook, you let the defense off the hook. But anyway, I digress.
Shot just so valuable that we will inevitably see a league that finds no value in taking any shot outside of the long ball. There must be a sweet spot between shooting exclusively threes and no threes.
Come here.
Where we will eventually see the limit of good, viable three-pointers. Oddly enough, the league may have already met that limit. As previously mentioned, three-pointers used to yield more points per shot than two-pointers for many years. Teams eventually figured this out and they capitalized on it. But this inadvertently led to two-pointers becoming more valuable. As teams focused their defensive efforts on stopping the three ball, they got spread thin, the rim opened wide up, offenses got rid of long mid-range jumpers, and for the first time in over 3 decades, two-pointers produced just as many points per shot as three-pointers. How do we know if or when teams are shooting too many threes? Well, intuitively, it would be at the point where three-pointers lose their statistical advantage over twos, which has already happened. The problem of too many threes has already statistically corrected itself. But despite this, the Celtics and many other teams are committed to shooting more threes than they previously did. They are aware of the data, and they still decided that upping their three-point rate is the answer. Steve Kerr has said that it would be hard for the Warriors to compete without shooting a high volume of threes. Mike Budenholzer said he thinks the sport is in a good place, and that threes create more space to be more athletic and dynamic going to the basket. Devin Booker, a player who utilizes and values the mid-range game as much as any player in the league, said the volume should be up. Attempting the three-point shot, not even making it, stretches out the defense and opens up better looks throughout the game.
I think when it comes to the mid-range, I think it's good to have mid-range specialists. Yeah, DeMar DeRozan, your Kevin Durant, like you have your mid-range specialists because and allow the team to create space in three ball. Not everybody should be shooting mid-range. Not everybody should be shooting threes either. But with your mid-range specialists, since they shoot it at a high clip and efficiently, I think that mitigates the negativity of the mid-range or the long two, whatever. So you got a specialist, then go ahead, get your bucket. How you gonna get your buckets? Shooting a lot of threes creates a lot more spacing.
Teams know that the two-pointers today aren't as valuable as they are in spite of threes. Two-pointers today have become so valuable because of threes. As Devin Booker stated, even when they aren't going in, the spacing and ball movement that three-pointers provides to teams creates an incredible advantage compared to any other shot. In fact, it's no coincidence that points per shot on two-pointers began to climb rapidly at the same exact time as the three-point revolution. When you force teams to guard the three, you also force them to give up the two. This whole time, we've been watching these games thinking teams are shooting way too many threes. And all along, they weren't just shooting threes because they're worth more points. They've been shooting more threes to create more points in other areas. The direct benefits of volume three-pointers actually plateaued quite a while ago. Teams aren't yielding more points per shot on threes today than they did a decade ago. But the indirect benefits of volume threes continues to grow the more teams make and take them. Which means, in theory, the number of threes we're seeing teams take could continue to climb, despite the fact that they are already at the peak of their direct statistical advantage.
That's crazy.
But just how much further could this go? Well, this is where things get really interesting. If we ignore the caliber of teams and the efficiency of their shooting and just look purely at volume, then through over 150 games so far this season, teams have found by far the most success when they shoot somewhere between 46 and 52% of all of their shots from beyond the arc. This season, when teams put up a three-point attempt rate between 46 and 52%, they have won over 70% of the time. Meanwhile, teams that shoot at a rate outside of this hypothetical sweet spot have won just 48% of the time, which means despite as many three-pointers teams are shooting, statistically, they may still not be shooting enough. And
the Boston Celtics shooting 53s is crazy. But like you said, though, because you're shooting a lot of threes, it's not necessary to shoot a lot of threes to make them. You're shooting a lot of threes to create space. You create space, you can get to the lane, and you can score buckets in the paint, which it doesn't matter how you want to slice it. A dunk and a layup is the most efficient shot at basketball. But you do lose the art of the mid-range. But like I said, when you do have a guy that's a specialist that can score in the mid-range at an efficient level, it doesn't take away from the offense in comparison than somebody that's, or the team as a whole, shooting long too. So long as you have somebody that's a specialist, efficient in shooting the mid-range, then shoot it. Because even though people don't like the mid-range, it's still part of the versatility. And when you can't get to the paint and when you can't shoot threes, you got to get a bucket somehow. That dribble pull up, nasty. But anyway, man, I'm going to stop right here. I got a couple more minutes left for this video. If you want to finish watching Jimmy Hyro's video, go to his page, look at the video yourself. But I'm going to stop it right here. And I think we already kind of knew this, man. Like the way the NBA is going right now, it's going to be a three shooting heavy league. I think Adam Silver himself, he need to change some of the rules. When the scoring was low in the dead ball area, you started changing rules to facilitate the offense. Now that everybody's shooting all these threes and everybody's offense is looking similar, everybody's offense is looking the same, not a lot of versatility when it comes to watching these basketball games, you might need to start looking at implementing new rules to help facilitate the defense. Because when you implement these new rules to facilitate the defense and increase the defense, now teams got to figure out other ways to become effective on offense, and then you can see more diversity in offenses instead of seeing everybody shoot all these goddamn threes. But anyway, it's your boy Chefbaker. I ain't got nothing else to say. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, drop a like on the video, and I'm out. Peace.